What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, an ex-University of Washington defensive back, Jacobe Covington, has selected USC as his next destination school to transfer to. Definitely very excited about this because he is from Arizona, and I would have not have been surprised if he would have transferred out to one of those schools. But definitely glad we got him because he was a very talented guy coming out of Arizona in high school, and USC was after him. Even the coaching staff, while they were at Oklahoma before, were after him. So it's definitely going to be a perfect marriage, hopefully, and he will have the ability to, actually try to earn a spot and compete instead of just being a bench guy. So definitely very excited about that. Then, speaking of USC football, their head coach, Lincoln Riley, threw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium. I think it was last Friday. I guess it's cool. I mean, it kind of helps out to get more exposure for your head football coach, so it can be a good thing for recruits to see. It's kind of weird how they do that. I know, what's his name, Ryan Day of Ohio State, the head coach, he's always on like any type of thing, whether it's, especially for ESPN, they always end up going to him for some type of breaking thing, or they always check out like an update from him from his school, which I always think is kind of weird. Like, why does he get, special coverage or all that stuff? So I don't know. Hopefully it is Lincoln Riley. He is a talker, so hopefully he can get USC's name out there a bit more than it has been, in a positive way the past couple of years. Then Luka Doncic, him and his Dallas Mavericks went into Phoenix yesterday and destroyed those Phoenix Suns of the Pacific Division with the Lakers. I mean, at one point they were up by like 40, so once they got into the fourth quarter, I kind of stopped watching, and as did Luka, because he was just on the bench, but he ended up getting like 35 points, 10 rebounds in only 3 quarters, which was amazing. So, of course, now they only get the opportunity to advance to the Western Conference Finals just to face ex-Dynasty champions in Golden State Warriors. So, I mean, Golden State kind of struggled against the last 2 opponents, so hopefully, and maybe Dallas can get up on them, get a couple of wins here and there, and maybe make this a interesting series. But if, Golden State comes out the way they should, it probably is only going to be like a 4 to 6 game series, sadly. But overall, if Dallas plays the way they did in that final game, it could be one of the better series, because Heat versus Celtics, it's kind of like the Heat should win that, but the Celtics are so hot right now, as they usually are with the Duke product and Jayson Tatum, but I'll get to him later. But yeah, overall, that was just awesome, because Luka is pretty much my favorite player of that's not on the Lakers, so I like watching him. I even bought his shirt during his rookie year, and of course he's just excelled to excellence, so he can thank me for that. But on to the next stuff. So according to a lot of reports out there, they're saying that Russell Westbrook of the Lakers is most likely going to end up staying for this 1 year. He has not officially picked up the option. I don't know when he can or cannot do that. He has a player option for his last year on his deal, which is like over 40-something million, but it was kind of obvious that he was going to pick that up, because either way, whether he still stays with the Lakers or gets traded at some point by them, he will get paid that full amount. So maybe the Lakers are kind of just succumbing to what they can and cannot do, and are just going to end up paying him for, you can probably only pay him half the year. That's around $20 million. Trade him hopefully by the All-Star break, so then they have to pay the rest of the $20 million. So either way, it'll kind of work out. Just have him come off the bench, because I think that's best for him. He cannot play while LeBron James is on the court at the same time, in my opinion. So overall, this can work maybe, but there was somebody did an edit of one of the better players out there from Portland, and Damian Lillard in a Lakers jersey, telling him to come to LA. Obviously, everybody's been wanting him to come to play for the Lakers, but for some reason he wanted to stay up there. He accepted that really big contract that you get while being a good player in the league for a certain amount of time. So obviously that was the only team that could give it to him. But maybe he will grow tired if they haven't done much for him, because they recently just gutted their team during the All-Star break this last season. And I don't know what they're going to do. They are probably going to say we could try to get a guy like Zach LaVine something like that in free agency this summer. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep him, because even the Lakers are trying to get Zach LaVine, you know. And then when it comes to, I didn't really understand. I wasn't paying attention during draft night, but I kind of found out that there are two sets of like guys who got drafted from USC are actually going to be divisional opponents to other ex-USC players now that they're in the NFL, and they will be able to play against each other, or at least their teams will be able to play against each other twice in a year, which is pretty awesome. Sadly, they're not. It's not like offense and defense. Both are 2 offense and 2 defense, but it's still cool. Hopefully, they could both in those separate games have their best games. So the first set is obviously Robert Woods got traded to Tennessee, so he's going to be out there, and then also Michael Pittman of the Indianapolis Colts. So they're obviously division players, so they'll play each other twice. And then Uchenna Nwosu, who was with the Chargers but went up to Seattle for at least 1 year. He's going to be playing against the recently drafted Drake Jackson, the defensive end out of Corona Centennial and USC. So that'll be pretty cool with that Seattle and the 49ers. Actually, give me a reason to watch those games if they are, promoted out here in the LA area, which I doubt, but we'll definitely be looking at those stats at the end of those games. So it'll be pretty cool to see. Then, speaking of Jayson Tatum, on Game 6, an elimination game against Milwaukee, all he did was just drop 46 points. I don't think it's a career high. It's not a career high. I don't know if it's a playoff high for him, but yes, he dropped that, and they won by a pretty good margin. It was kind of close towards the end, but they kept that 10-point lead throughout, which is good for them. Forced the Game 7 back home in Boston, and that happened yesterday, and they were able to, kind of like the Mavericks, just on a lower form. They pretty much kept like a 20, 25-point lead throughout the game, and even whenever Milwaukee tried to make their run, they just couldn't do it. For some reason, the other ex-Duke product, Grayson Allen, just kind of stopped making his shots. A lot of them were open, and sometimes where they were contested, but he just kind of fell flat this last couple games, which might help him in getting to the Lakers, because they probably won't want him anymore. So that's what I'm hoping for. But 46 points in that Game 6, and he got 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists in that Game 7. So didn't have to put that much, but still played well overall for his team. And I think it's like his 3rd Eastern Conference Finals in his first 5 seasons, which is pretty awesome for Jayson Tatum. It just obviously sucks that there will be 3 opportunities for the Celtics to be in the finals to help their overall championship lead. Well, actually, as of right now, it's tied the multiple championships for the Lakers and Boston Celtics, but trying to make sure they don't get past us unless the Lakers get the first one past them. But overall, congrats to him. Obviously, I knew it from the start. It just took him a while at Duke, and once he got into the NBA, he's been great, which is awesome. To end off with some miscellaneous news, Godzilla vs. Kong is officially getting their sequel. Don't know when exactly it's going to be re-released, but at least we kind of know it's in the works officially. And they're bringing back the same director, who did a pretty good job in my opinion, Andrew Winger. So we'll see what he can do again. But then they also mentioned that they are bringing an Apple TV Plus series, a brand new one, with actually a different leading actor. They're also bringing a different actor for the movie as well, which is kind of interesting. But overall, maybe they might interlink and cross over. They might not, but it's just awesome that we're getting a bigger monsterverse. And now I have to think about trying to steal somebody's information for Apple TV Plus. And then sadly, ex-Tremors star, and I believe he was like Joe Dirt's dad or something like that. He's always popped up in a couple movies I've watched here and there and TV shows. Fred Ward sadly passed away at 79 past couple of days. I really remember him from the first 2 Tremors. I know he probably did a couple more Tremors after that, but Tremors was a pretty big thing when I was growing up. Watched it a lot, and definitely gonna be missed because he was one of those better character actors. I always liked seeing him pop up in random stuff throughout his career. It was really good. Then Reservation Dogs, a Taika Waititi produced show, is actually getting its official return date in early August. I think it was like August 3rd. It's funny how they say it's his series, and it kind of is because he's producing and probably helping writing, but it was definitely created and produced and directed and wrote by Sterling Harjo, who's the main guy, which is why it's, critically acclaimed as it is, because it's one of the first ever shows to have almost a full indigenous people writing, directing, producing, filming, and all this stuff, even the actors as well. So definitely glad that they're getting things going, and can't wait for early August for that new show. And then even his semi-new show that he helped kind of write, produce, directed some episodes, and he is acting as Blackbeard in it, but so far I haven't seen him show up in this series. I only watched the first 2 episodes, but hopefully he does get better with them in it. And Our Flag Means Death, another produced Taika Waititi thing. So anything he is kind of involved, I always kind of check it out and watch, just because I think there is a chance that it could be good, especially if he helps direct, which he did the first episode, and help write and produce some of the stuff with his friend out there as well, Rice Darby. So overall, hoping it gets better, the show, but we'll see. It's on HBO Max, I believe. Then the other day, they found like a undersea brick road or something like that, yellowish brick road that they think might be the entrance way or some type of pathway to the lost city of Atlantis, which is always, I think, in like certain stories, whether they're Disney stories or cartoon stories about Atlantis, it always seemed like it got not reined in, but the ocean basically covered it up and all that stuff by some type of magician, not a magician, but whatever type of power, kind of flooded the place. But it could be pretty obvious that with the melting ice caps and rising water, that any type of civilization underneath the water could be found, because it's obvious that the water is rising. So it's pretty crazy to think that there are some more civilizations down there that we haven't even found out about. But it was pretty cool to see. It kind of reminded me that it's not the way to the lost city of Atlantis. It's the way to Oz. It's the yellow brick road. I mean, come on, that's the real thing here. Those other pictures you see of the yellow brick road, because that's pretty obvious of what it is, or at least that's what we hope it is, more than just a city with a bunch of old rotted out gold that we don't need. Rather think of it as being a place for Oz, in my opinion. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.